I'll just wait. How about that? We'll just go to Mr. Esposito for 5 minutes from New York.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the committee for allowing me to wave on. Ms. Fisher, I would like to direct my first line of questioning to you. In your summary of your opening statement, in the second paragraph, it says, Amnesty International is a Nobel Prize-winning global human rights organization committed to fighting for the human rights of all people, no matter where they are or where they're from. The third paragraph says, our vision is of a world in which every person enjoys all of the human rights enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other international human rights instruments. Sounds very promising. My question to you is, do you think that what's happening right now in the United States of America under the failed policies of Joe Biden and Secretary Mayorkas, do you believe that it is the responsibility of Americans, do you believe that it's the responsibility of New Yorkers to foot the bill of individuals coming into this country illegally?
Thank you so much for that question. I think what we have seen is actually decades of failed policies that have invested billions of dollars.
With all due respect, I only have 5 minutes, and we're not going to talk about the years and decades of failed immigration policy. What we're going to talk about today is the failed policies, the border security failed policies of Joe Biden. So my question is very simple. It's a yes or no question. Do you believe that the American people, do you believe that New Yorkers should foot the bill for people coming into this country illegally?
Seeking asylum is a right under U.S. law. So I think the question is a little bit flawed, but what I'm suggesting is that
coming into this country and seeking asylum is when you do it the correct and legal way.
The U.S. law allows for people to seek asylum regardless of their manner of entry.
I'll reclaim my time. When people cross borders and they come here illegally, and more importantly, specific to what we're talking about today, when they come here and commit crimes, they are released because, well, that's not the failed policies of Joe Biden, it's the failed policies of Governor Hochul in New York State. They commit crimes and they are released to commit more crimes. What we're talking about today is Floyd Bennett Field. Have you ever visited Floyd Bennett Field?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, well, I will tell you that in your opening statement that you submitted, your vision is of a world in which every person enjoys all the human rights enshrined in the Universal Declaration. I will tell you that having worked as an NYPD detective for over 16 years and visited Floyd Bennett Field many times, as someone who has spent his entire life living in New York City and traveled in and out of JFK Airport routinely, I will tell you two things. First, Floyd Bennett Field and JFK Airport, neither one of them is a world in which you enjoy human rights. People living in an empty warehouse at JFK Airport, that's not the human rights that they risk their life to come here for.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Living at Floyd Bennett Field, which is in the close proximity to not only military operations, but special operations of the New York City Police Department, not only is that not where they should be living, but it's also not safe.
I agree with that, sir.
And that's what is just mind-boggling, is that we continue to allow people into this country illegally, and then we, the United States of America, and the people who pay taxes have to foot the bill for them to come here to not only live and eat and have cell phones. And I mean, we've heard stories of people coming across the southern border. The moment that they cross over and they do like their touch base with Asylum, they are on their phone getting an Uber to wherever that they want to go. Literally, there's been Ubers that sit on the southern border waiting to take people places. My next line of questioning, I only have a minute left, is to Ms. Morrissey. First of all, thank you for your service to the NYPD. We're both retired. Obviously, we know what it takes to keep people safe and protect our communities. These are disastrous policies, and as the summer approaches where we see crime skyrocket, right, because that's what happens. When it gets nicer out, there's more crimes that are committed. Do you believe that the migrants committing crimes now surrounding Floyd Bennett Field will contribute to the summer crime season?
Absolutely, because the heat and living in close proximity to each other in a very hot tent is going to cause violence with themselves and their surrounding neighborhoods, including everyone.
And I would assume you're here, so probably you and Mr. King and Ms. Williams and others have expressed these concerns, correct?
Yes.
I really do hope they're heard, because the American people are paying the price for the Biden border crisis, and it's a shame. With that, my time's expired. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I think the gentleman from New York, the gentlewoman from New Mexico is recognized for her 5 minutes. We're going to ask one round. She's going to ask one question.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. These House Natural Resources Committee hearings are always an interesting fever dream. And I welcome my colleagues from New York to the House Natural Resources Committee. This is not a city council meeting for New York City. This is not a state assembly hearing in the New York